All right, so the conversation at hand, or the topic at hand, is all about mental health. I guess to start, when you hear mental health, what does that mean to you? And that is open for anyone to answer.
For me, especially as Youth of the Year, my campaign was mental health. So that was like my number one priority. For me personally, because I've experienced my mental health issues, it kind of just, my idea is like it's being different, but not in a bad way. I felt at first it was kind of weird to have your mental health issues or go through struggles. Then I had to kind of realize, well, that's normal. And it makes you different in your own way. It's how you deal with it. So in my eyes, it's normal, but it's different at the same time.
Really, it's about how people think of themselves, because I know I have trouble about if I'm enough sometimes, or am I doing something right, or if something is wrong, I try to agitate about it, have my own business. So like a lot of the ways that I get like stressed out, like having that, is like by painting and just being alone and have some music playing on and just be calm with it.
Most people in the Black community don't even know that there is different diagnoses of mental illness. So we have to educate our people to get the stigma off, and we have to start early, because most of our children are suffering from depression and mental illness such that it's creating a rise in suicide among our young people, because we don't talk about it enough. In other communities, mental health is just as important as getting physical health. And so you'll find that in other communities, the physical health and the mental health goes hand in hand. Unfortunately, in our community, we barely deal with the physical health, let alone the mental health. So I think what we need to do is put more importance on mental health. And when we do that, we can start seeing our communities heal.
So one of the things of importance is really to be able to, acknowledge if you notice some signs, symptoms of depression, anxiety, or other sort of mental health issues and concerns, and seek some help. Sometimes it just starts with talking to a family member, talking to, your primary care physician, your pediatrician, or talking to a mental health professional.
If I could, Doc, I have a daughter that goes to Wayne State. She's in a doctorate program she's going for the clinical psychologist.
Okay.
She's in the doctorate program at Wayne State. And one thing her and I consistently talk about is being able to recognize signs, particularly in our youth. If I had a cold, I'll get sniffles, I'll get a cough, maybe a sneeze, a slight headache, give or take, and those are signs letting me know that I either got a cold or I'm getting some kind of flu. If you could, beloved, can you explain some of the symptoms that our youth may be suffering from to show that they may need to go and get their mental health checked out?
Sure. If we look at, most common mental health issues among children and adolescents, we're really talking about either behavioral or mood disorders. Most common disorder in childhood is anxiety disorders. You can have different subtypes of anxiety disorders. So you can have a social anxiety where I'm fearful of being around other, in larger groups or unfamiliar people. Or you can have generalized anxieties where you worry about a lot of things. I might worry about a monster under the bed. I might worry about, thunderstorm. I might worry about being teased or being bullied, but a host of worries. And it also comes with some physical symptoms of anxiety. So it could be a headache, a stomach ache, could be feeling faint. You can also have separation anxiety. Not too uncommon, for kids, where kids don't want to be away from their family. Or their guardian, or separating, to go to school. That's a challenge.
Being young, you always taught really not to show your emotions, or don't cry, or shut up, or not being able to fully express yourself. And I realized in my life that that's carried on in different mediums and different spaces as I've aged. And it's only maybe within the last 3 or 4 years that I fully have come to grips with understanding that it's okay not to be okay. To have that opportunity to be like, like you asked me earlier, like how I'm doing. And immediately I say I'm blessed. And a portion of that is because I understand that my present sufferings don't compare to my future glory. But also I've been conditioned to just be like, it'll be all right. And being conditioned to be like, it's all right, removes me from having to put that work in and figure out what's not all right. And stop, like, they say clean your room, you throw all your clothes in the closet or you throw them under the bed. Like, it's not clean, that stuff's still there. And it's kind of like this coping mechanism that I've kind of built up, and I don't think I'm the only one.
But beloved, we have to understand that emotions is a primal thing. Primal meaning it's natural to have emotions, to be mad, to be sad, and to be angry. Malcolm X said, a man who is mad or a man who is sad in his miserable condition does nothing to change his condition. But when a man gets mad at his condition, he brings about a change. Anger is an energy. It's okay to be angry, but you want to have a controlled anger. So here's the thing. You have to do an internal checkup from the neck up. All of us have had our bad days. How many of you had bad days? Now, how many of you have gone off into a corner and cried to yourself? And came back and somebody, now how many of you either lash out? How do you handle your anger?
I get angry. I usually go by myself. Like I said before, I paint. So the best way to get it out is be by myself and just start to go at it. And if people interrupt me, I'm real quiet, I'm a little irritated, but I go back to what I'm doing and find a way to get out to where if someone is talking to me respectfully, I'm not about to just lash out at them and they don't deserve it. So that's the best for me, not to lash out at someone who doesn't deserve it and just be to myself and
That's
get myself
controlled
together.
anger. And you, how do you handle your anger, little lady?
I have a thing I have with my brother. So we both, every time we get mad, because usually before that we would just lash out at each other and then be mad and just hate each other for that time period. But we kind of made an agreement that when we're mad, we can go off on each other and it'll be just fine. And then later on, we can talk about it and try to work it out and see what we're mad about.
I usually would sit in my room and I would just sit in my bed and I just pout. He'd come and go like, JJ, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I am. He's like, no, you're not. Come talk to me. And I remember one day I was like, Granddad, I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like no one likes me. No one likes me for who I am. He said, JJ, God made everyone different. You're not going to be like me. You're not going to be like your brothers. You're not going to be like no one else. He told me no matter what people say, they're different just like you. They have some things they don't like about themselves too that they like to hide. But it's all about perspective.
I love that.
It's whether you think you're good. It's whether, because he said, not everyone in the world is gonna like you. But if there's just 5, take those 5 and run with it.
What was powerful about what you said is, you had support. And somebody, you talked about, different perspectives, and it's how you perceive things. I tell people I'm a cognitive behavioral psychologist. What we believe is the way we think affects the way we feel and affects the way we behave. And sometimes the way we think isn't actually true. But the way we think, if I think, I'm different, nobody's gonna like me, I can't connect to other people, we're gonna feel sad, down, depressed, anxious, nervous, and we're gonna behave in such a way that we're gonna withdraw. But your grandfather was able to say, let's look at this negative or dysfunctional thought or perception you have about yourself. And let me correct that. Let me change it. Let me tell you, what things are really like.